We're in the greatest city in the world, New York City, inside the world-famous Madison Square Garden.
And all that skill will be on display right here at Madison Square Garden's historic ring and setting.
For decades, boxing has thrived in historic venues like Madison Square Garden and Wembley Stadium. But in recent years, a new player has emerged on the scene, changing the game entirely: Saudi Arabia. Once known primarily for its oil wealth, the kingdom is now making waves in the sporting world, and boxing is at the forefront of its ambitions.
2030 in our country to do and deliver to the market the best fight with good price and make the fight that people want to see.
This is a story of money, power, ambition, and controversy. How Saudi Arabia has positioned itself as a global hub for boxing. The kingdom's serious entry into the boxing world began in December 2019 with the Clash on the Dunes, a high-stakes rematch between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. Held in a purpose-built, state-of-the-art arena in Diriyah, this event wasn't just a boxing match, it was a statement. Saudi Arabia spent over $60 million to host the fight, offering a record-breaking purse to lure the event away from traditional venues. The gamble paid off. The fight attracted millions of viewers worldwide, and the spectacle showcased the kingdom's ability to host world-class events. Boxing fans began to see Saudi Arabia not just as a venue, but as a major player in the sport. Saudi Arabia's involvement in boxing is no accident. It's a calculated move that aligns with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030, an ambitious initiative to diversify the kingdom's economy and reduce its reliance on oil. Sports, and particularly boxing, have been identified as key components of this vision. The kingdom has leveraged its public investment fund, one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds, to attract major boxing promoters. Recent reports suggest that Saudi Arabia is in talks with organizations like Matchroom Boxing and Golden Boy Promotions to create a unified global boxing league. This proposed league, valued between $4 and $5 billion, could revolutionize the sport by consolidating its fragmented structure. Saudi Arabia has hosted several high-profile boxing events since 2019, each more significant than the last. Day of Reckoning, 2023. A heavyweight showdown featuring Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, 2023. An event that blended sports with entertainment, drawing in millions of younger viewers. Riyadh Season Partnership, 2024. Collaborations with the World Boxing Council to host title fights during the annual Riyadh Season Festival. These events aren't just about boxing, they're about building Saudi Arabia's brand as a cultural and sporting hub. The kingdom has invested heavily in infrastructure, including the construction of venues like the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, which rivals the world's best arenas. Saudi Arabia's financial muscle has allowed it to attract top-tier talent. Fighters like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have repeatedly expressed their willingness to fight in the kingdom, drawn by record-breaking purses. For example, Fury reportedly earned $50 million for his fight against Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia, an amount unheard of in traditional venues. The kingdom's involvement has also opened doors for crossover events, blending boxing with entertainment. This includes influencer fights, like Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, which appeal to younger audiences and expand boxing's reach. Boxing is just one piece of Saudi Arabia's broader strategy to dominate global sports. The kingdom has already hosted Formula One races, signed Cristiano Ronaldo for its domestic football league, and invested billions in golf. The same model is being applied to boxing. Use massive financial incentives to attract the biggest names and events, then leverage the attention to boost tourism, infrastructure, and global influence. While Saudi Arabia's investments have elevated boxing, they've also sparked controversy. Critics argue that the kingdom is using sports to distract from its human rights record, a practice often referred to as sports washing. Organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have raised concerns about issues such as freedom of speech, women's rights, and the high number of executions in the country. The ethical debate extends to the fighters themselves. While many athletes are willing to accept Saudi Arabia's lucrative offers, others face backlash for doing so. Some fans question whether boxing legends like Tyson, Fury, and Anthony Joshua should associate with a regime criticized for its human rights practices. Saudi Arabia's influence has also led to a shift in boxing's power dynamics. Traditional venues in the US and UK struggle to compete with the kingdom's financial offers, raising concerns that the sport's historical roots are being overshadowed by money. Promoters now face tough decisions: follow the money to Saudi Arabia, or stick to the sport's traditional fan bases. What's next? Saudi Arabia is showing no signs of slowing down in its pursuit of becoming a dominant force in boxing. The kingdom is not only investing in hosting marquee events, but also working toward reshaping the very structure of the sport. With plans to launch a global boxing league, a venture valued between $4 billion and $5 billion, the country aims to unify the sport under a single umbrella. This bold move could simplify the fragmented nature of boxing, where different organizations often compete for supremacy. If successful, it would mark a monumental shift in the sport's history, potentially offering a more cohesive and streamlined experience for fighters, promoters, and fans alike. At the same time, Saudi Arabia is actively working to position itself as a global sports hub. By aligning these investments with its broader Vision 2030 initiative, the kingdom seeks to diversify its economy and elevate its international profile. Boxing is just one piece of the puzzle, with the country already making significant moves in other sports like football, Formula One, and golf. These efforts aim to create a sustainable sports ecosystem that not only attracts global attention, but also inspires local participation, laying the foundation for future generations of Saudi athletes. However, this grand ambition is not without risks. By aggressively pursuing a leadership role in boxing, Saudi Arabia could alienate a core group of fans and fighters who are deeply connected to the sport's traditional roots. Boxing is steeped in history, with iconic venues like Madison Square Garden and Wembley Stadium serving as temples of the sport. Moving fights away from these revered locations to shiny new arenas in Riyadh and Jeddah might make purists feel that the essence of boxing is being lost in favor of commercial interests. There is also the question of whether boxing's top fighters will continue to embrace Saudi Arabia's growing dominance. While lucrative payouts have drawn stars like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Alexander Usyk to the kingdom, there's always the possibility that fighters could resist aligning themselves too closely with a country that faces ongoing criticism over its human rights record. If public backlash intensifies, fighters may weigh the financial rewards against the reputational risks of appearing in Saudi-hosted events. For Saudi Arabia, the challenge will be balancing its financial power with public perception. The kingdom's growing influence in boxing represents a double-edged sword. On one hand, it offers unprecedented opportunities to elevate the sport and bring global audiences together. On the other hand, it risks alienating stakeholders who view the rapid commercialization as a departure from boxing's storied tradition. Ultimately, the success of Saudi Arabia's venture into boxing will depend on how skillfully it navigates these competing interests. Saudi Arabia's rise as a powerhouse in boxing is a story of ambition, innovation, and controversy. By investing billions, the kingdom has reshaped the sport, offering fighters and fans unprecedented opportunities. Yet, these advancements come with ethical questions and challenges that cannot be ignored. As Saudi Arabia continues to host major events and push the boundaries of what's possible in boxing, one thing is clear: the kingdom's influence on the sport is here to stay. Whether that influence is for better or worse will depend on how it navigates the delicate balance between ambition and accountability. What are your thoughts on Saudi Arabia's role in boxing? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.